How's it going, guys? Another episode of the Tavern Brawler Wizard series. In this episode, I'll be taking on Therezzyn in the Githyanki Kresh, starting by pre-buffing myself with momentum, as I have been doing. It's very convenient of the Kresh Merchant to leave all this random crap piled here for me, because it makes it easier to get my momentum stacks without having to pile it all myself. And then we're going to be doing a little repositioning with improvised melee weapon. Now having gotten almost to the end of a full run with momentum stacking and improvised melee weapon, I can say with confidence it is an absolutely busted combo. There is so much you can do when you can just put the enemies wherever you want them to be. Here, I'm going to be trapping them all in the same room so that they work for me using a very fun spell. Using improvised melee weapon outside of combat like this does not make enemies mad, provided you don't actually throw them on the ground. So you need to make sure to cancel the action before the animation completes, which makes something that's already really, really strong even better. So if you're setting something up with enemies that haven't yet become hostile, you can do a lot of free repositioning this way. I'm going to be benefiting from Arcane Acuity here, but I didn't pre-buff myself, so I now need to find some way to give myself some Acuity from the Gloves of Battlemage's power in combat. Here I'm thinking about the best way to order the actions I want to do. I'm planning to cast a debuff and then lock the enemies in here with an Arcane Lock, trying to decide what order to do everything in. Oh, look, another Gith decided to join the party. Come on in, buddy. There's room for everybody. We're having a grand old time in here.
Cutting to the chase.
You probably saw me click on Crown of Madness and test that against Therezzyn. I only have a 55% chance to land it right now, which isn't very high. So I'm trying to decide how I want to build Acuity in order to be able to land that on her the same turn. With the gloves, there are a few different ways you can build Acuity with breaking items and applying statuses. And some of them can give you 4, 6, or even 8 Acuity in a single action. I elect to go with an Alchemist Fire here. An Alchemist Fire, when it lights enemies on fire, will deal burn damage immediately. That burn damage will give you Arcane Acuity whenever it triggers. Alright, so if you watch here, I'll get 4 Acuity, 2 from throwing a creature, and 2 from the Alchemist Fire burn. Then here I can get an additional 4, 2 from throwing a destructible item, and again 2 from the burn damage. Crown of Madness, a very strong, albeit maybe somewhat situational spell. I find it often gets overshadowed by other wisdom save spells of the same level, like Hold Person, but especially when you're just casting it against one person, you're not upcasting, I think it can be a lot better than Hold Person. The reason is that it makes the target hostile to everyone in the vicinity. It doesn't just make them attack them, it actually changes their allegiance so that everyone is hostile to them. Now that Shovel is dead, I don't have any eyes in the room, and so the game's not showing me exactly what's happening, but I think you get the gist. Since Therezzyn is hostile to the other Gith, they are just tearing her apart.
hesitation.
So my original plan was to use Arcane Lock to lock them all in the room with the maddened Therezzyn. I was kind of imagining that the AI would need a little prompting to attack their own former ally. Maybe it would like prioritize attacking me, unless it was hard for them to get to me. That ended up not being necessary. They were all happy enough to just go tear her apart. But I do end up using the Arcane Lock here anyways, just so I can wait out the lethargy from the safety of the other side of a locked door. I did kind of jump the gun there, though. I have an extra turn of speed potion before lethargy, so I maybe should have used my action last turn to attack a little bit more, and then this turn use the arcane lock. That being said, something I can do because I've kind of just created a delay is I can do some setup you normally wouldn't want to do in the middle of combat, like switch gear. It's sort of an interesting little tech you can use Arcane Lock for is give yourself the time you need to fix any gear you want to change. That movement speed never gets old, does it? That's without dashing too. That's just from the speed potion and all my momentum. I was honestly expecting them to have an easier time knocking this door down, but I guess they just don't have the right damage types. Yeah, I guess I didn't think of this at the time, but if you know that enemies can only deal piercing damage, then a standard wooden door is like almost impossible for them to break through. So something to think about positioning wise. Very funny to imagine this guy just calmly standing here while his buddies are locked behind a magical door, pounding on it, trying to get out. I get this question a lot, so for those of you who are new to the series, the reason the spear is returning to me is because I have an Eldritch Knight hireling in camp that has used Bound Weapon on it. You may not know this, but Bind Weapon is basically a property of the weapon. It doesn't actually care who bound it, so anyone who throws a Bound Weapon will have it returned to them. If you look at Orin's Dagger in Act 3, it actually just has that same Bound Weapon property, so that's why that works that way. I've gotten so used to having this level of movement speed that I'm worried in my next run I'm just going to get so enraged by only being able to move like 30 or 40 feet a turn. I'm wearing the Callous Glow Ring, and I'm also now wearing the Sparkle Hands, so I'm getting damage riders in the form of Radiant damage and Lightning damage, and that's why I used an Alchemist Fire here. It carries all of your Universal Riders, and so it can punch above its weight if you have enough sources of bonus damage like that. Ah yes, Path is Interrupted, the greatest enemy of every throw character. Notice I made my first concentration saving throw there, but then I failed the second one. The first one was from standing in the burning surface, and the second one was from throwing a burning character. I don't know if you knew this, but if you throw a burning item or character, you will catch fire. Sort of a funny little hidden interaction. I don't know if it was worth it to lose my enlarge there, but I did trigger my Shield of Thrall's blast as well, so kind of, I don't know, maybe it was worth it. Downside to the burning condition carrying your damage riders is it also will damage you if you light yourself on fire. So I'm also taking the radiant and the lightning damage there. Fidgeting with the door here is totally pointless and overkill because they're just going to die from the burn damage and cold a week on their turn. But, you know, sometimes I'm not thinking ahead.
Well, that's dealt with. But she wasn't the one pulling the string.
That's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Was very impressed with Crown of Madness here. I didn't realize the enemy AI would be quite so eager to kill their own teammate. If you enjoyed the video, I always appreciate a like, a comment, and or a subscribe. And hope to catch you next time.